When being heard becomes a need, why do I feel like nobody really listens to me? Maybe you have tried to explain how you feel, but before you could finish, someone interrupted you. They gave you advice, they changed the subject, or they began talking about something that happened to them. And suddenly, your moment disappeared. You were speaking, but nobody was truly listening. There is a difference between someone hearing your words and someone making space for what those words are carrying. Sometimes you are not looking for a solution. You are not asking anyone to fix your life. You only want someone to stay with you for a few minutes and say, "I understand why that hurt. I can see why you are tired. Tell me more." But many people have forgotten how to listen. They listen while preparing their answer. They listen while looking at their phone. They listen only long enough to decide whether they agree with you. And when this happens repeatedly, you may begin to believe that what you feel is not important. So you start shortening your stories. You say, "It's fine." You say, "It doesn't matter." You say, "Forget it." But it does matter, and you did not forget it. You simply learned that telling the whole truth might leave you feeling even more alone. Perhaps this has been happening for years. You became the person who listens to everyone else. They call you when they are worried. They tell you about their families, their problems, their disappointments, and their fears. And you listen. You remember the details. You ask how they are doing later. You make them feel seen. But when it is your turn, the conversation becomes shorter. People become distracted, or they tell you that you think too much, that you are too sensitive, or that you should simply let it go. And that can create a very particular kind of loneliness. The loneliness of having people around you, but nowhere safe to place what is inside your heart. Maybe the question is not only, why does nobody listen to me? Maybe the deeper question is, when did I begin believing that I had to carry everything silently? Because after being ignored enough times, silence can begin to feel safer than disappointment. But that silence has a price. And perhaps today, it is time to understand what that price has been. The silence we learn to carry. When people stop listening to us, we often stop speaking honestly. We continue talking, of course. We discuss the weather, we ask about the grandchildren, we talk about work, appointments, and ordinary things. But the most important part of us stays hidden. We edit ourselves. We remove the difficult parts. We tell people the version of the story that will not make them uncomfortable. And after doing this for a long time, we may not even notice how much we are holding back. Perhaps you once tried to express what you needed, and someone accused you of complaining. Perhaps you tried to talk about something painful, and they told you that other people had it worse. Maybe you finally admitted that you were exhausted, and someone answered, "But you have always been so strong." That sounds like praise, but sometimes it is also a way of saying, "Please continue carrying this without needing anything from us." So you smiled. You kept going. You became quieter about your pain and louder about everyone else's needs. This often happens inside families. Certain roles become established without anyone openly choosing them. One person becomes the responsible one. Another becomes the peacemaker. Another becomes the person everyone calls during a crisis. And once people become comfortable with the role you play, they may resist seeing the parts of you that do not fit that role. They know how to receive your help, but they may not know how to receive your vulnerability. They know how to ask for your strength, but they become uncomfortable when you say that your strength is tired. That does not always mean they do not love you. Sometimes people love us, but they only know how to relate to the version of us that has always taken care of them. Listening to your pain would require them to see something they may have avoided, that the strong person also needed support, that the calm person was hurting, that the person who always said, "I'm fine," was hoping someone would look closer. And perhaps part of your sadness comes from this. You have spent years understanding everyone else, but very few people have made the same effort to understand you. That imbalance hurts. Not because you need constant attention, not because every conversation must be about you. It hurts because every human heart needs at least one place where it does not have to perform. One relationship where it can speak without being rushed. One person who does not immediately compare, correct, or judge. One moment when you can lower your guard and simply be heard. Wanting that is not selfish. It is human. And recognizing that need does not make you weak. It means there is still a part of your heart that believes connection is possible. Listening begins inside you. There is something difficult we may need to accept. We cannot force another person to listen. We can speak more clearly. We can choose the right moment. We can tell someone what we need. But we cannot make them become emotionally available. And repeatedly trying to receive understanding from someone who has never been willing to give it can slowly empty us. Sometimes we keep returning to the same person, hoping that this time they will respond differently. This time they will understand. This time they will apologize. This time they will finally recognize everything we have carried. But when the same disappointment happens again, the wound becomes deeper. At some point, healing may begin with a painful question. Am I asking this person to give me something they may not know how to give? This is not about blaming them, and it is not about pretending their behavior does not hurt. It is about protecting your heart from having to prove its pain over and over again. You do not need everyone to understand you, but you do need to stop abandoning yourself when they do not. Many people learn to doubt their own feelings. Someone dismisses their pain, and they immediately think, maybe I am overreacting. Someone interrupts them, and they think, maybe what I was saying was not important. Someone refuses to listen, and they think, maybe I am asking for too much. But another person's inability to listen does not determine the value of what you feel. Your experience remains real, even when someone else cannot recognize it. Perhaps the first person who needs to listen to you now is you. To sit quietly and ask, what have I been trying to say? What have I been minimizing? What am I tired of carrying alone? You might write it down. You might speak with someone who has shown that they can hold a conversation gently. You might allow yourself to name the disappointment without immediately defending the people who caused it. And for those who believe in God, there can also be comfort in remembering that some of the words we cannot say to other people can still be spoken somewhere. You do not need perfect sentences. You do not need to hide the anger, sadness, or confusion. A quiet prayer can simply be, God, I do not know who else to tell, but this is hurting me. Sometimes healing begins there, not because every problem suddenly disappears, but because the heart realizes it is no longer speaking into emptiness. There is something deeply healing about being witnessed. And even when human beings fail to give us that experience, we can begin creating spaces where our truth is treated with respect. Finding the people who can hear you. Being heard does not always require a large circle of people. Sometimes one safe person is enough. One person who does not rush you. One person who remembers what you said. One person who asks, "How are you really doing?" and then stays long enough to hear the answer. But finding that person may require us to change the way we choose where to place our vulnerability. Not everyone deserves access to the deepest parts of your story. Some people can share a meal with you, but they cannot carry your pain. Some people can laugh with you, but they become uncomfortable with sadness. Some people care about you, but they may not have the emotional capacity to listen in the way you need. Accepting this can be sad, but it can also be freeing. You can stop explaining yourself to people who have already decided not to understand. You can stop using all your energy trying to make your pain sound reasonable. You can stop returning to conversations that always leave you feeling smaller, and you can begin noticing the people who do listen. Perhaps it is a friend you have overlooked, a sibling who has become gentler with age, a neighbor, a support group, a counselor, someone from your faith community, or perhaps a person you have not met yet. The important thing is not to close your heart completely because certain people failed to hear it. Silence may protect you from disappointment, but it can also keep genuine connection from finding you. You are allowed to say, "I don't need advice right now. I only need you to listen." You are allowed to say, "Please let me finish before you answer." You are allowed to say, "This is important to me," even if it does not seem important to you. And if the person continues to dismiss you, you are allowed to end the conversation. That is not punishment. It is dignity. Your voice does not become valuable only when someone approves of it. Your story does not become real only when your family understands it. And your feelings do not need a courtroom where they must constantly present evidence. Perhaps today, you can begin with one small decision. Do not silence yourself before anyone else has the opportunity to listen. Speak honestly, but choose carefully where you place those words. Listen to yourself with the same patience you have given so freely to others. And remember, being unheard for a long time does not mean you have nothing worth saying. It may simply mean you have been speaking to people who did not know how to listen. If this conversation felt familiar, you are not alone, and perhaps someone else needs to hear these words too. Welcome to Anael, Why Do I? A quiet place for the questions we carry inside.